Hey, how you doing? This is Darius Iscarapor from the Short Sale Success Institute, and I just want to go over right now a quick snapshot of what's happening in the market. And as you see that picture up front, it's a picture of New York City. I'm a little biased in New York City, so I had to put it up there. Let's get right into it. You know, when you're looking at the market conditions, it's very important that, in my opinion, you look at three simple points of perspective. I like to call this my 3 Ps. I like to look at what the problems are right now in the market, the potential around those problems, and the profitability that can come from execution. So let's look at the problems first. You know, this right here is what we call a heat map, and a heat map is very important to take a look at if you're involved with real estate, if you're involved in really any statistic out there when you're looking at things on a national or regional basis, because that can help you determine where there's a high concentration of anything occurring. For us, we want to see where are some of the most condensely packed areas of foreclosures in the country, and you'll see that the darker the area, the more foreclosures that are there. You know, the biggest thing to take a look at is the stat that says 1 out of every 418 homes in America is in a position where they're filing for foreclosure. I mean, this stat is pretty recent. This is from February of 2010, and this came from Realty Track, so it is a credible source, and this is very important to take a look at because we have been hearing forever that there are a ton of foreclosures happening in this country. I mean, we all know it. We all see it. We've been hearing it for a long time now, but it's not over yet. We're not through the woods, and this is definitely a serious problem for a lot of the country. After more than 3 years of declines, home prices will hit bottom, finally, in 2010, but not before additional losses, says Mark Zandi, the chief economist of MoodysEconomy.com. Very important to take a look at this. The reason being is that the massive rate of depreciation that we saw happening in recent past, it's kind of leveling off, which is good. That's positive. But the big thing that you wanted to pay attention to here is the part that says not before additional losses. Guys, we're not through the woods. We still have a massive amount of foreclosures out there that need to be cleaned up. We have a massive correction that's going to occur in the market, and we're still in the thick of it. There's still a problem that needs to be solved. The national unemployment rate, already 10%, will peak at about 10.5% in the first quarter of 2010, says Patrick Newport, an economist at IHS Global Insight. Very important to always take a note of the unemployment rate. The reason being is when we start to see the unemployment rate dip, that means that more people are having jobs. The benefit of that is we're going to start to see the economy be stimulated. We're going to see more activity, more purchases happening, and we're going to see that a buyer's market is going to start to emerge. On the flip side, if we see unemployment going up, that's going to result in more foreclosures, more people being late, more people basically being in an unfortunate situation financially speaking. So you want to always pay attention to the unemployment rate. We are poised in 2010 to see a surge of foreclosures from prime borrowers. Make sure you guys pay attention to prime borrowers, not subprime, prime borrowers. Hundreds of billions of dollars in option mortgages, also known as adjustable rate mortgages, are set to be recast next year, said Heather Fernandez, Vice President of Marketing at Trulia. Very important to see that in 2010, where we are right now, we're in the thick of it, we are going to see a massive correction in the market as far as these option arms go, which are very, very toxic hybrid versions of adjustable rate mortgages. You see, this graph here clearly demonstrates exactly what I'm getting at. If you pay attention, you take a look and you see February of 2010 all the way to August to October 2011, you're going to see that we're going to have a massive surge of option arms being reset, and this is very important to take note of because we're going to see another little wave of foreclosures that are going to happen here in this country. And now if you're poised the right way, you can make some serious profit if you can solve the problem at hand. So now we went over problems, and it's very important to be able to kind of shed some light on the problems that are out there that people are facing so that we can figure out the potential in the market and the solution that we can create. I think banks are less than 50% of the way through recognizing all the loan losses that they need to recognize. Tanya Azarts, banking credit ratings analyst at Standard & Poor's. You know, a lot of people think that we've reached a point in the market where banks have kind of gone through all their inventory, things are looking great, the sun is shining, the grass is green. Now listen, all of us love sunshine, we love green grass, but the reality of it is we have not reached a point yet where banks have really gone through all of their toxic loans out there. They haven't cleaned their books yet. They still have a lot of work to do, and a simple fact, in Tanya's opinion, and in my opinion too, I do share her mindset here, less than 50%, the banks are less than 50% of the way through recognizing all their loan losses. They still have a long way to go. We can capitalize on that potential in the market. The National Association of Realtors also said Tuesday that Northeast sales were 13% higher on a year-over-year basis, the biggest improvement in any of the 4 U.S. regions. Nationwide home sales are up 8% from February a year ago. This is very, very, very important for us to really analyze, because the simple fact that home sales are starting to increase is showing stimulation in the market. It's showing that people are buying once again, and if people are buying and you've got something to sell, you put the 2 and 2 together, that results in profit. The loan servicer or lender has 10 days in which to respond to the seller whether or not they are approving the short sale offer. Now, this is directly from the new guidelines from the HEMP and HAFA program. These are very important changes that are happening in the market, and if any person out there is involved in the short sale game, transactional funding, flipping, whatever it may be, these are very, very important things to take a look at, because they are game changers. They are changing the way that we do business and the way that we negotiate with lenders out there. We want to streamline and standardize the short sale process to make it much easier on the borrower and much easier on the lender, said Seth Wheeler, a Treasury senior advisor. This was quoted in the New York Times. Very important, because there are a lot of things in place, regulations and mandates that are really putting pressure on banks to approve deals faster, have them move through the process, whereas, in the past, 6 months ago even, it took people some time to negotiate short sales, and a lot of people were scared of that part of the process. You see, the beauty is now there are so many things out there that are making this process a really smooth, efficient one that can result in profit happening a lot sooner than later. Conditions in financial markets have improved considerably in recent months, the Fed and Treasury Department said. Very important. We want to start to see stimulation happen. We want to see people buying again and selling happening. And of course, all of this was happening even through, the really, really downtrodden time periods. Those that knew what they were doing were making money no matter what. But it's good to see that across the board we're seeing that there's a positive outlook on the market. And these are the stats that you want buyers to be looking at, that gives them incentive to go out there and actually make a purchase. Okay, so we took a look at problems, we took a look at potential. Now let's look at profitability. This is probably one of the most important parts. I'm sure this is why you're watching this right now. You want to know how you can put the cash in your hand. Short sales are an incredible way to make some serious profit. You already know that. That's why you're at the point where you're actually watching this recording, is because you know that there's money to be made in short sales. But let me kind of just shed some light on 3 big points that I'd like to make about the money that can be made in short sales. The biggest thing is you make all your profit at one time if you do a quick turn with the property, a legal quick turn. The beauty of that is you realize your gains as massive income, not passive. You see, there are a lot of real estate transactions out there. I mean, there are probably hundreds, maybe even thousands of them that you can do. But the reality is a lot of them don't put large chunks of money in your pocket right away. And you know what? That leads me to my third part. Most people can use a couple $1,000s, but really, they really need at least $30,000 to create some serious change in their finances. $1,000 is great. Listen, a penny that you have today that you didn't have yesterday is a penny more. That's another soldier you can have out there working for you, paying off some bills, whatever it may be. But people need large chunks to make a serious difference, and you can get that with short sales. The profit margin is massive. Okay, I just want to give you some simple facts right now. I mean, really simple, just 2 of them. I know, personally speaking, for us, we spend an average of 27.4 hours per transaction. That's from beginning to end. Now, that's not 27.4 hours in a 2-day span. That's extended over a few weeks, sometimes a few months. The average that we make per transaction is $33,437. I mean, these are exact numbers from all the transactions that we have closed. That's $1,220.33 per hour that we're making. How many people out there that are working a job are making money like that? How many people work their whole life to get to the point where they're making maybe 1/10 of that an hour? Hopefully they wish, hope, and dream that they can even get to that point, and the majority of people in America never even get close to making $100 an hour. But with these transactions, you can make over $1,000 an hour. There are not many opportunities on the face of the earth that you can do that within. You see, but short sales, that's why they're so important. It's that massive profit that can be made. I want you to imagine, what would happen if you closed just 3 deals a year? I mean, that's it, just 3 deals a year. What would that mean to you? Now dream a little bit further. What about 5? I dare you to imagine what could happen if you closed 10 deals a year. 10 deals a year, making an average of 30,000. I mean, what if it was just an average of 5,000? That's an extra $50,000 a year. You see that picture there with the guy with the light bulb? I know you've got one above your head right now that just went off. I hope all this makes dollars and cents to you. I look forward to spending more time with you, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye.